All right, what's going on, y'all? So this is a very not really disturbing, okay? Because we talked about these things before on this channel. I probably made, since I've been back on, I don't know, maybe 500 videos. Maybe out of the 500, maybe a good 250 about Diddy, Sean Combs here. Okay. Now this is just kind of revisitation of. It comes from industry secrets by the way of the music recording network, Uncle Mike. Shout out to Uncle Mike. Welcome back home. So this is basically a video here that I saw. I'm reacting to how these people around Diddy. There's been a few people that ended up passing away. Okay, it seemed like damn near everybody that he knew that was close to him is dead or whatever. Okay, or they're a target. You know, it's just so more recently that the people when in more recent times over the last 4 or 5 years or more so like under immunity. So if something happens to them, then the FBI is probably going to assume that Diddy has something to do with it. So things that goes to show that things that caught up with him. So anyway, look, they just talked about, and just by the way, your star hostess was Jaguar Wright, because she's really been blasting people, blowing the whistle and things like that. Okay, and I think that there's a lot of truth to what she's probably been saying, a good 75%, because that's the case. Then why are they trying to Jay-Z is trying to, cease and desist her, Jay-Z and Beyonce. Why does she have death threats and that kind of stuff? All right. And actually, I think that she's federally protected after she won that peace award. Okay. I do think that. Now, I guess, the host, whatever correspondent of that show is all saying, well, why is I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Kim Porter, which is mainly what they're talking about, with mainly Kim Porter, of how she ended up catching STD and ended up dying. That's what I wanted to say about this, mainly this subject, okay, about Diddy giving her, maybe affected her allegedly with STDs, maybe even AIDS, because it's alleged that Diddy has AIDS, allegedly. Okay, because there's no really proof to that, because a lot of these guys now, they're on that PrEP, or they're on probably some type of medication where that they can't detect it anymore. Okay, so basically it's so many words, it's a cure out there. Okay, and it's probably very, very expensive to get it. Okay, that kind of thing, or they may be on that. I guess the PrEP, that's what keeps you from getting it. Okay, particularly being in the industry. Gene Deal was also talking about it things too. Okay, and he went on record to say some things about, I guess, the relationship with Kim was, Diddy was abusive, and they had both participated in freak offs, and they talked about the book and that kind of thing. I went over the book a little bit in a video myself. Actually, Miss Lowdown was talking about on her channel, going over the book, which is 40 pages. Okay, I guess of their tenure between Kim and Diddy. Okay, that kind of stuff. But one of the main topics is where Kim Porter, 47 years old, didn't have any type of health issues with pneumonia, and I guess Diddy was over there for an hour, rubbing her down with oil. Now I'm wondering what that oil was spiked with, or whatever. Was it with the horse tranquilizer or what? So next thing you know, this woman ended up dead. Okay, and a lot of that is because this is what Jaguar Wright states, and I think so too, when she was getting ready to come out with that doggone book. Okay, so she had mentioned that. She had mentioned that Al B. Sure was harmed, but she had mentioned also that Kim Porter did not die of pneumonia. Now, about Al B. Sure, that he was going to come out with some type of documentary and things of that nature. And you can see that interview. He did actually did an interview, I believe it was today. And, he just wanted to bring some things to light. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of that has to do with the way he's been treated. He felt like, he was probably blackballed by Diddy. And some of that probably has to do with the relationship of himself, Diddy, and then Kim, because both of them have children with Kim and that kind of thing. So just so you know, it's also alleged that there was a security guard that walked in Diddy's office or whatever and saw Al B. Sure on his knees giving Diddy top, allegedly. Okay? So, yeah, but he ended up getting in a coma and he ended up surviving, okay? And so that's what happened there. Also Heavy D, one of my favorite guys back in the day when I was like 17 or 18, where I think Heavy D mainly would put Diddy in check. Now, Heavy D and Diddy, that they grew up, they were childhood buddies in Mount Vernon. That's where Diddy was from and things of that nature. So, I don't know what it's about, but I understand that Heavy D, I didn't even know that he was going to put out with some type of book or whatever, okay? And it felt as though he was harmed because he was probably like, 44 when he passed away? So this is what Jaguar Wright is stating, why, the one thing these guys had in common was they were all going to come out with a book, and next thing you know that they're no longer with us. She also spoke about Craig Mack, and Gene Deal also said too that he realized that Craig Mack had all these craters in his face and things like that. Now I saw that he looked pretty bad, during his last days and things of that nature, okay? That he had allegedly died of AIDS. He moved to some camp down in South Carolina and he died, okay? So, the thing is, where did he get the AIDS from? So it's alleged that it was Diddy. So this is not good for Diddy, that he's alleged to, have these STDs, herpes, and all this other stuff from all the doggone stuff that they're doing at these doggone freak-offs. And then, Kim had possibly had it. I think that she did get something, okay? So with all the money that they got or whatever, I couldn't see why they couldn't make sure everybody was checked before the freak-offs and then afterwards or whatever, okay? That they were to make sure that they got checked at all times, okay? Also in closing though, which Uncle Mike even said, he said, look, you know what? That Kim was worth $12 million. She made that much money every year, but they're walking through the airport. But particularly with the money that Diddy got or whatever, that he would have made sure that they probably either chartered a jet or, had their own jet and took care of her in that kind of way, particularly with the kids. And I guess they had a picture of them, of Kim and then the little girls, the twin girls when they were little girls walking through the airport. So, this story really, in the end of the day, is really, really not good. And I just think for a lot of these people, a lot of people he had in Bad Boy, other than Biggie, he ended up, unalived. But really, the outcome either wasn't good, and if you happen to live through it, then you was lucky. Because you see the rest of the people, that their demise is they're no longer with us. So let me know what you think. I appreciate your time, and stay tuned for the next video. If I didn't say already, like, share, subscribe, Cash App, $Winston Spivey.